Window groups are a feature built into the Mac terminal application that you wouldn't really know about unless you dove into the settings pane of the terminal app. But with a little bit of extra shell scripting, they're really nice value add to your daily workflow, especially if you're somebody who has some familiarity with the terminal already, with the command line already. So there's a few things that are kind of specific to my setup and the setup that you'll sort of be seeing me use in this video. Obviously, I'm on a Mac. Obviously, I'm using Terminal. So for Windows users, I'm sure you can do something similar, but I don't have any interest in that. I mean, I don't know how to do that. I'm sure it's interesting. The second thing that's specific about my setup is that I have OMI ZSH installed. So I'm using ZSH instead of Bash. And if you're not sure the difference between ZSH and Bash, join the club and then Google it, and you'll kind of learn everything you need to know without too much trouble. They're both different shell scripting languages, I suppose, or they're not languages, they're frameworks. What you need to know is that you should probably try ZSH, and if you want to do that, you should probably use OMI ZSH. So go and check that out, give it a shot, and come back to this screencast once you're either A, you've got OMI ZSH and you're ready to follow along, or B, you're confident that you can do the shell scripting portion, sort of transpose what I'm doing into your own dot file setup within a normal bash install. So, without further ado, here's what a window group can do for you. So I'm going to type the name of my window group function in here, and I'm going to press enter, as you do with command line. And what's gone and happened is that I've got my browser is opened up here. That's all thanks to a couple of grunt tasks in that Yeoman scaffolded project. But what that command did is it opened up two different tabs for me. So in this tab here, we've got grunt running. It's watching my style sheets and my scripts, etc. for changes. It's running a server, and it opened up the browser window for me. But what the terminal did is just fire off a single command that's joined, two commands joined together with this little, I don't know if you still call that an operator here, the double ampersand. Basically, this particular tab changed directory into a project, one that I made for the screencast, and then, fired up grunt. The other window changed to the same directory and just printed out a git status. So I kind of like that. It gives you a look at the current state of the head when you just get back into work. And it will alert you right away if you have any uncommitted changes in your current branch. So let's take a look at how to make a window group. Starting from scratch. So window groups you access through the terminal preferences pane. You can command comma that, or you can go terminal preferences. And you can see my window groups here. So I've got one for soak and you, one for work. And then I've got this demo group here, which the one that I've created for the screencast. But we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to start from scratch. So the first thing you need to do is to create the actual windows that you want to be contained within your group. And it's a little bit specific because in this section of the settings pane, you've got these tabs up here. The one that we're mostly interested in is this shell tab. And if I select one of the windows that I've used in that demo window group, demo-git and demo-grunt here, you can see that I've selected to run a command whenever that window starts up. So these are the commands that you saw earlier. Change into the window group screencast project and running git status and yada yada grunt serve. So we'll delete these and go from the top, even though you're probably getting the idea from now. Here's an interesting point. You need to start with the color scheme that you want your windows to have by selecting it and then saying duplicate settings. and then giving it the name that you want. So call it whatever you like. I like to go with something that is kind of, it begins with the name of the project, and then after that goes into the function of the window. So we'll say demo, this won't be for Git. We'll do another one, demo, and this one will be for grunt. Next thing we want to do is to define the commands that we'd like to run. So what I want to do, as you might guess, is to change directory into my projects directory, and then go into my particular project, so window group screencast in this case. I can never type quickly while I'm doing a screencast or a presentation. It's always very slow. And then once I'm there, I want to and git status. There we go. Change directory, projects, window group, screencast, and fire off git status. Perfect. I'll copy that first chunk, go over to my demo grunt window, and just add on grunt serve. So now I have my two windows. I want to fire up these two windows with a single terminal command. The next step is to create a window group with these two windows. So we can get rid of the settings pane. And we basically just need to open the windows as we want them arranged in our group. So I'll go to new window and I'll say a new demo git window. Then I'll go to a new tab. I'd like a tab here. I'll say demo grunt, and that's going to run and fire off grunt, and this one's fired off git. Very cool. So I'm going to get rid of these. All we need to do here to create the window group is to go to Window in the toolbar and select Save Windows as Group. Again, giving it any name you like. These two commands here I don't use. You might want to play around with those. I haven't played around with those, but this one here kind of looks like it's similar to the option that we set in the shell tab where we define which commands we want to run. For the purposes of this little demonstration, we're going to ignore both of those options, and we're just going to save the window group demo. With that done, if we pop back over to our window groups, we can see that we've created this demo window group here. So that's very cool. If we go to window and then we say open window group and we say demo, we can now get that window group here. So that's pretty cool. That's all right, but I don't want to go up here and do this, you know. Don't ask me why. I want to just type demo into my terminal, into my command line, and have those windows fire up. So we need to take this window group and we need to make it bootable by a shell function. So we're going to export this window group as a terminal file, and we're just going to throw that onto the desktop for now. That's perfect. I'm going to open up another handy terminal window here, and we're going to move this terminal file, this .terminal file, into our .files directory. So in this case, in my case, we're going to be moving demo.terminal. I'm just going to change to desktop, move demo.terminal to home directory and into omyzsh/custom. Cool, and then we will ourselves navigate to omyzsh and into custom. And you can see here the demo terminal file. You've got the functions.zsh file, which we'll be coming to in just a second to create our method. And then we've got this here, which you won't see. You'll need to create this. I've just created this directory, window groups, to store different window groups. So we'll move, in your case, you probably want to do a make directory window groups, like so. I've already got that. Once you've created it, you'll go move demo into window groups. Great. Okay, so we've got our window group.terminal file stored in our window groups directory. Next thing we want to do is to edit the custom functions file. So I'm just going to do that with the vi command right in terminal here. So I've got a whole bunch of methods in here. You can ignore all of this, except for these ones down here at the bottom. So these two methods here are ones that fire off a window group. So sknu is the one that I use for soakinu for work, and then we've got this demo group here, which is the one that I created to kind of show off demo groups at the beginning of the screencast. I'm just going to get rid of this and walk through writing it from the top. So the function syntax, it will look very familiar to you, hopefully. Name your function. Function names are pretty flexible here, I would say, is one difference. So as an example, I can use a hyphen in a function name if I'd like to. So I'm going to call this function demo group. Open parentheses, close parentheses, close my squiggly bracket. And then all we need to do in this method, as you can see, is to open the terminal file. So I'm going to go open omyzsh custom window groups / demo dot not HTML terminal habit, force of habit. Okay, yep, that looks right to me. It looks shorter than this line here, which is disconcerting. What am I missing? I'm missing an S. Oh my ZSH. I can't believe I was missing an S. We also need to throw this little exit command here down at the bottom and not forget the tab. This is just going to close the window from which we fired the original command, so we don't have like a stupid dead window left over afterwards. So that's it. We'll save and close if we first press escape. Okay, so colon to fire off a command, WQ to save and quit. And at this point, we're pretty well ready to go. We just need to open up a new terminal window so that ZSH will recognize the new function in our functions file. And now if I type demo group, it's going to open up the window group. I've got my browser ready to go. I've got grunt running in the background, compiling my style sheets and whatnot, checking my JS for them errors, all that good stuff. I can see that my working directory is clean, and I'm ready to go. So this is a nice little workflow tip, I guess, for working on projects that have a longer duration. Like I use this command sknu for work on a daily basis, as long as I'm writing code, which more often than not is the case. So I've got the same thing as in the demo here, changing directory into my project file and printing out a git status so that I know I haven't left any uncommitted code from the last sort of coding session. I've got grunt running in the background. And then in this other window here, I've got a Vagrant environment, which is running the Django application, the soakinu Django application. So this kind of gets me well kicked off. It's good for this type of thing. If you're just hacking on something for a night, I definitely don't recommend this type of setup. It takes a little bit of work, and it's just probably not worth the effort. You're not going to be opening up that series of terminal windows very often. But if you do have a project that lasts a little bit longer, I find this to be very helpful. Be interested if anybody can make this more efficient. I might have missed a few corners that we can cut, things like that. If there are any questions, post them in the comments. Have a good day.